Hello and welcome to the Overdue podcast, episode 3. I'm Kelly, and with me today are my fellow librarians at Madison College, Mark.
Hello.
Dana.
Hi there.
And the other Mark.
Hello.
Sorry, I took the other Mark. But
Today on the show, we have an announcement about our book cover contest by Dana, a water resources piece by Mark, and a new segment by Dana and myself called Waiting in Westeros, and a news segment from a special correspondent, Professor Perkins. Also, we'll have trivial observations with Mark and our Anything Goes recommendations. All right, so our segment 1 is a Goodreads plug and the book cover contest by Dana.
Thank you, Kelly. So hello. I hope that everyone has had a chance to start reading Memory of Water by Emmy Iturranta. I just personally finished part 1, and I really look forward to the next time that I get to sit down and read more. I commented on our Goodreads page that I'm really geeked out about how beautifully written this is. And here's one of my favorite lines. Let me know if it got this stuck out to you guys. I settled into a strange, unhurried rhythm into which the drowned must settle when the sea takes the weight off their limbs. Do you guys remember reading that one?
that is a great line.
I do. Yeah, it's full of those kind of lines.
Yeah.
Yes.
And to me, rhythm really jumps out there.
Yeah.
Rhythm and motion.
Yeah, it's poetry, right?
Yeah.
So it's really about the sound those words make rather than their meaning, because I still don't know what that means, but it
Yeah.
sounds really pretty.
Yeah. So I encourage you to visit the Overdue Book Club Goodreads page and put your own comments down or let us know what your favorite line is. And if you haven't listened to episode 2 of our Overdue podcast yet, make sure you visit soon, because in that episode, Christina talked about book covers. She also gave us a quiz and posted it to the Overdue podcast webpage where you can see several iconic book covers. So just for fun, we've decided to host a book cover contest where you get to be the graphic designer. For this contest, we would like to invite you to use your creative energy to design a book cover for the Memory of Water. All right, so here are the official rules. You ready? All right, so number 1, the name of the book, Memory of Water, needs to be included in the design. Number 2, you can choose any medium, physical or digital. Number 3, we strongly encourage you to use the Creator Studio, where you'll find all of the supplies that you would need to make any sort of project you have. Number 4, all submissions will be displayed in the Creator Studio. Number 5, the winner will be announced during our last recording of the Overdue podcast for the semester. And number 6, finally, we're going to give you 1 month. So the deadline is April 1st, 2017. These can all be found on the Overdue Book Club's website as well, so you don't need to rewind and listen again. Is rewind a thing? No, I don't know. Anyways, we look forward to hearing from you on our Goodreads page and seeing your creative expressions of this beautiful book. All right, and for our next segment, we have Water Resources by Mark.
Okay, so besides being in the title of our Spring Book Club selection, water is also a heavily used motif in the book Memory of Water. The novel takes place in a future after climate change has made fresh water scarce.
So here's my part. First, it might be helpful to get down a few definitions of words that will frequently occur in the book. Words like aquifer, which is a body of permeable rock that can contain or transmit groundwater. Desalination, the process of removing salt from seawater. Freshwater, not containing salt from the sea. Groundwater, water held underground in the soil or in pores and crevices, in rock crevices. That's one of those words that kind of make me uncomfortable saying it. Spring. Any natural situation where water flows from an aquifer to the Earth's surface.
All right. Whatever your views on climate change, it's probably worth taking some time to think about water nonetheless. Clean, fresh water is something most of us probably take for granted, yet many parts of the world are in a position where they no longer can take it for granted. According to a February 2016 article in the journal Science Advances, 2/3 of the global population, that's 4 billion people, live under conditions of severe freshwater scarcity at least 1 month of the year. India and China account for a large percentage of that number, and interestingly, that fact plays into the plot of our book club book. While not as bad as the other places in the world, the United States is not immune to freshwater scarcity issues. Many are probably familiar with the 2015 water crisis in Flint, Michigan, but there are freshwater issues in many states in the Southeast and the Southwest.
For more on our nation's freshwater issues with perspectives on different sides of the issue, take a look at the July 15th, 2016 article in the library's subscription database CQ Researcher entitled Drinking Water Safety: Can the Nation's Aging Water Infrastructure Be Saved? CQ Researcher, I think I can safely say, is one of our favorite databases with the library staff. And one of the neat things about it is it does offer different perspectives on the issue and lays out information and statistics for you to look at and make decisions on your own and come up with thesis questions. Other resources, if you're wondering about water supply and safety issues locally, some great sites to check out include the University of Wisconsin Water Resources Institute. The URL for that is www.wri.wisc.edu. It has all sorts of quick facts, research reports, and statistics, as well as some fun trivia. And actually, some of that trivia will be later in our Trivial Observations segment. Some other sites you might want to check out with information locally include the Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources Water Topic site at dnr.wi.gov/topic/water.html, and the Wisconsin Center for Investigative Journalism's Project Water Watch Wisconsin at wisconsin-watch.org/series/water-watch-Wisconsin. Also, the Madison College Libraries have many books and other subscription databases analyzing water resource issues on an international, national, and local basis.
All right, thank you, Mark. For our next segment, it's Kelly and Dana with Waiting in Westeros.
Hello, I'm Dana.
And I'm Kelly, and we're
Waiting in Westeros.
So Dana, do you think it's fair to say we're super fans of George R.R. Martin's book series, A Song of Ice and Fire?
Yeah, I would. You've read it twice, and you can't stop talking about it at every chance you get. And you have a Stark House banner hanging outside of your work cubicle.
True. And you've just finished up reading on your third time through, isn't that right?
Yeah, mostly. But that's nothing. I've heard of some people that have read it 6 times.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I know. I wish I had more time to read. I would totally read it 6 times.
We should probably tell the listeners why we're calling this segment Waiting in Westeros.
Yep. It's been almost 6 years since book 5 of the 7-book series was published. There have been numerous delays in the publication of the next book, The Winds of Winter. It's been rumored to be coming in 2017, but that's what they said last year.
Gosh, I sure hope it does. But in the meantime, we have much and more to discuss and a little quest to fill the time.
Just so. Like Brienne of Tarth, we're on a quest.
That's right. Our quest is to try to get more people interested in reading these truly unique books or reading them again and thinking about them on a deeper level.
Yep. There are many podcasts out there on every aspect of the series, and I've even read that some universities are teaching courses on A Song of Ice and Fire.
And I've read that George keeps a quote by William Faulkner on his writing desk that says, "The only thing worth writing about is the human heart in conflict with itself," and how he always tries to follow this maxim as he's writing.
In honor of that, we're trying to get to the heart of the matter and find out why we and others love these books so much and want to visit them over and over, and hopefully pique people's interests.
I think this is going to be a multi-part segment.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, so let's get started with the world that George has created, the Martinverse, if you will.
Yeah. Just like J.R.R. Tolkien, Martin gives us a world that is completely separate from ours, which makes it high fantasy, but somehow his world is more familiar to us than Tolkien's Middle-earth.
Yes, it is. I've heard it said that George has taken the high fantasy trope and turned it on its head. This series is full of unlikely heroes, tragic ends, well-written girls and women, and plenty of morally ambiguous characters, not to mention several characters that are too evil to not be fascinated with.
Westeros, where most of the action takes place, is based on medieval England. If you look at a map and Google Westeros, you'll see. King's Landing is London, Old Town is Oxford or Cambridge, the north is Scotland, and the 800-foot wall of ice is Hadrian's Wall. So the geography is a bit familiar. What else is familiar?
Well, the institutions of religion, knighthood, the monarchy, social class, patriarchy, war, and politics, just to name a few.
Yeah. Essos, which is the continent across the Narrow Sea, much like the English Channel, is where some of the action takes place as well. Geographically speaking, Essos is much like the Mediterranean region and the Mongolian plains.
There are exotic and mysterious cities, strange religions, stranger people, and dragons.
Ah, yes, dragons.
However, its people are constantly at war with each other, and there's widespread slavery.
Yeah, not so great if you're a slave.
But great if you're a dragon. A dragon is not a slave.
Words to live by.
Okay, so now that we've given the listeners the lay of the land, it's time to leave the Martinverse for now.
Next time on Waiting in Westeros, we're going to talk about some of the literary devices George employs to further the plot along and to develop his unforgettable characters.
His characters are my favorite part about the books.
I thought it was the dragons.
Yeah, the dragons too, and the direwolves.
Thank you for listening. See you next time on
Waiting in Westeros.
So, I had a thought.
Oh, I want to hear it, but pass me a lemon cake first.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Okay, so the thing.
And then for our next segment, we have introducing our special correspondent, Professor Perkins.
Well, hello. This is Ponderings with Perkins. I'm Perkins, and I've been pondering. I want to share some of these ponderings with you. I think I've been pondering a very interesting subject lately, and that's water. Yes, water. It is a subject I have been researching for at least 4 days, on and off. And though I've come to no conclusions, I do have some thoughts I'd like to share. But first, a poem. This poem is entitled Bottled Water by Kim Dower. I go to the corner liquor store for a bottle of water. Middle of a hectic day, must get out of the office. Stop making decisions. Quit obsessing. Does my blue skirt clash with my hot pink flats? Should I get my mother a caregiver or just put her in a home? And I pull open the glass refrigerator door and confronted by brands. Arrowhead, Glitter Geyser, Deer Park, Spring, Summer, Winter Water, and clearly the bosses of bottled water, real water, and smart water. How different will they taste? If I drink smart water, will I raise my IQ but be less authentic? If I choose real water, will I no longer deny the truth, but will I attract confused, needy people who'll take advantage of my realness by dumping their problems on me? And will I be too stupid to help them sort through their murky dilemmas? I take no chances. Buy them both. Sparkling smart, purified real. Drain both bottles. Look around to see, is anyone watching? I'm now brilliantly hydrated, both real and smart. My insides bubble with compassion and intelligence as I walk the streets with a new swagger, knowing the world is mine. Wow, power of water, no? And another poem. This one a haiku by Basho, as translated by Allen Ginsberg. It reads, "The old pond, a frog jumped in. Kerplunk." And Allen Ginsberg's translation is one of 32 that I found, almost all of them quibbling or varying on the last line, whether kerplunk is appropriate, splash, or whether you translate the Japanese into something like the sound of water. So I've been thinking and researching less about water in terms of how it keeps us alive or its chemical structure, and more about what water means. In Through Fire and Water, Zoltan Ildiko Guy writes, "The symbolic meanings of water are complex. It is regarded as the materia prima in several creation myths, standing for the abundance of all possibilities. It is associated with dark depth, with the feminine, with fertility and life. It is the symbol of cleansing for the body, the emotions and the spirit alike, also of renewal and eternity, or, as the fountain of youth, of eternal life. Whoa, right? So water, one of the 4 or 5 fundamental elements in the ancient world, is a deep idea with religious, psychological, sociological, biological, significance across all cultures. It's more than what we drink or bathe in, and it's worth pondering, I think. So to say goodbye, I'll leave you with an image that's sort of been stuck in my head since I was very small. There's a scene where a little piglet and a honey-colored bear lean over the rail on one side of a bridge. They drop sticks in the water and then hop over to the other side of the bridge, and they wait and watch to see who wins. And I ask you, what game are they playing?
All right, and for our next segment, it's Mark L. again with Trivial Observations.
All right, for everyone today, our question actually comes from something we mentioned in our water resources segment. The UW Water Resources Institute has some wonderful statistics, facts, and trivia. And here's a little trivia directly from their site.
Did you go to the kids' trivia page? Or
It was essentially the kids' trivia page,
Oh, good.
yeah. All right, but you need to be smart kids
yeah,
because
right.
it's a fairly challenging question. And again, it's a 2-part question. The first one, what % of the world's water exists as fresh water, and how much of that percentage is locked in polar ice caps?
I'll go with 3%.
Yikes.
You know what, Kelly, you're amazing because the answer is 3% of the world's water.
I was going to say
is
3%
fresh.
too.
All right, very good.
I'm
Okay.
also amazing.
Now, how much of that is accessible? How much of it is locked in polar ice caps?
I'll say, I don't know, 1%.
Oh,
That's my
boy.
guess.
all right.
0.5, 0.5%.
Believe it or not, it's all the way to 2%, which
yeah.
only leaves
Wow.
1% of the world's water being fresh, accessible through streams and groundwater. So
So global warming's not such a bad thing. We get more fresh water.
there you
out
go.
of it.
It will open
But
up
it's
the
going
ice
to
caps,
melt into
and
the sea, and it'll be
Oh.
salt water then.
Oh yeah, we can't drink that. Okay.
we're going to have to get really huge buckets and catch it as it comes out.
There we go.
All right, and the second part of the question is, so there's not an awful lot of fresh water in the world's water supply, and of that fresh water, actually a lot of it is in the Great Lakes right next to us, which is why a lot of people, a lot of states, and just people in general have some very big interest all of a sudden in the Great Lakes. The Great Lakes account for what percentage of surface fresh water on Earth?
Just all the Great Lakes.
Correct.
And now the pie is
So,
just fresh water.
Yeah.
Of all of the fresh water, what
And
percent of it
it's
is in the Great
and to
Lakes?
clarify, it's surface fresh water. So
Surface,
this
not
we're not
groundwater.
talking about groundwater,
Okay.
right?
I'll say
Well-
25%.
I was,
Did she nail it on her first?
Pretty close. Any other
I
guesses?
was going to say just over a quarter, less than half, maybe 30.
If
Okay.
this is Price is Right, which most kids have no idea about, I'm going to go with 1 and hope that it's under 20.
$1.
Yeah, right?
Well, for those of you that remember The Price is Right, Mark's strategy actually worked, even though he was the furthest off. The answer was 20%.
20.
Wow.
Nice. Wow.
Well, lucky we're in Wisconsin.
Right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Too bad for everyone who's not.
Yeah. Get
Right.
over it.
All right. So thank you, Mark.
Yeah, that
and
was awesome.
So we're ready to move on to our Anything Goes recommendations. And we'll start with Dana.
All right, so my recommendation for this week, or for this episode, is the TEDx Talks. These talks are usually less than 20 minutes, and they're always great. There's always something fun or educational or entertaining that you can take away from them, and I found that it really helps me get an uplifting attitude for the rest of my day.
What has been your favorite one so far?
Oh, it was great. It was one by Mel Robbins, I believe, and she was encouraging people to be to do things that are uncomfortable for them or to get out of their comfort zone. And I actually
Like a podcast?
This is true.
Or
Yep.
things in the creator studio.
Yeah,
Yep.
absolutely. I actually used that day in one of the instruction sessions I gave, and I encouraged every single one of the students I had in my class to stand up and report their findings and do some public speaking. And at first everybody was a little bit scared, but I noticed that the attitude in the classroom totally shifted. Everyone was a little more relaxed and enjoyed themselves. So I thought that was really great.
Great.
Stress
Yeah.
releaser. All right. So I think I'm next. And I'm going to recommend, first I'm going to go off on a little tangent, but bear with me because I do have a point. Okay, I have a little trivia question. So out of the 17 Pixar feature films, how many have a girl protagonist?
2.
I'm going to
Close.
go with 4.
Close. Mark should know since he has 2 daughters.
I'm a huge fan. Yeah, yeah. Oh boy, though, I'm feeling really dumb at the moment.
Maybe.
2?
sorry.
I'm going to say 2 as well.
It's actually 3.
Okay, that's what I was
Okay.
gonna-
So for extra points, what can you name them? Can you name the 3 that have a girl protagonist?
Well, Marita, definitely. She's not?
Which one's that?
What is Marita? She's the Brave. That's what it's
Oh, okay. So Brave. Yes, Brave. I'm sorry.
Okay. I love
It wasn't the
Marita.
title, but
Yeah.
yes, Brave is one, and then the other
Moana, are we
2.
counting Moana? No.
That's not Pixar.
Okay,
Yeah,
fair enough.
We're just doing Pixar.
You know,
What about Finding Dory?
Finding Dory, Inside Out.
Inside
Oh,
Out.
Yeah.
gosh,
Yeah.
Inside Out, yeah.
And they do have 2 films coming out in 2017, and both will feature a male protagonist. And in 2018, they have Toy Story 4 coming out, which, of course, Woody is the protagonist. So there will be 20 Pixar films with 3 with a girl protagonist. And I'm picking on Pixar, because they make good films that are hugely popular, and they're both entertaining to kids and adults, and they have really great social messages. So I'm not sure what the problem is. But my point is that girls are way underrepresented in film. And if they are represented at all, at least the way I see it, they're portrayed as shallow, silly, and often mean. So when a filmmaker does feature girls in a realistic way, I feel I have to give them props. And I'm so excited that the winner at the Oscars for the Best Live Action Short was a Hungarian film called Sing. And it's about 2 girls who meet in a school choir and become fast friends and bond over music. And when one of the girls finds out something unfair is being done to the other girl and some of the other children in the choir, she hatches a clever plan to expose the truth. And to me, the film asks the questions that if you live in a society and you see something unjust being done to a certain group, but not to yourself, do you make a stand? Do you try to do something about it? Or do you do nothing and become part of the corrupt society? And it's only 25 minutes long. It was really great. The little actresses were very good. And I was pleasantly surprised to find out that the writer, director, and producer of the film was a man. And his name is Christoph Dieck. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right, but just a tip of the hat to you, sir.
As it turns out, I see a lot of the films that Kelly does,
Yes.
and had a chance to see this as well. And other Mark, or the first Mark, I would recommend this for your daughter at her age. I think.
Yeah, I think the girls are like 10,
yeah.
11. Yeah.
brilliant.
And really nice role modeling in it, I guess, for lack
Yes.
of a better.
Yes,
word,
and
so.
they're not extraordinary girls. They're just average girls that just they're girls. And
Right on.
yeah, I was I was just so thrilled when I saw it, and I didn't think it was going to win, and it was going to be my recommendation this week. And when it won, I was just like, yay!
Nice. Yeah,
So,
yeah.
all right,
Very cool.
Pixar, take a note. All right, so who's next?
Okay, my recommendation this week is a Sundance documentary series, an 8-part documentary series. Each part was a half hour, called Nimrod Nation, and it kind of ties into our water segment theme today. Nimrod is the nickname of Watersmeet High School in the Upper Peninsula, close to where Ironwood is, if you're trying to picture where that might be. A very small community. And first of all, they did this series because they like the nickname Nimrod. Apparently it comes from a god of hunting at some point, and I'm not sure which mythology it is, but that's where it originally came from. Nowadays it has other connotations that you can explore on your own. But so the documentary is about this basketball team that's the pride of the community, but it's also about the community up there. And one of the segments that was ongoing in it that I really enjoyed was there was a father who was just a really excellent steward of the land to his children, and taught them things about not only hunting, but then also all the process after hunting and making their own meat, and also taught them a lot about water ecology. And what was interesting is he had a lot of friends in the community, and when he would talk to his friends at the diner, he would say, he would always preface everything with, "I'm not a tree hugger," but so.
But he really was a tree hugger.
In this day and age where people are either on one side of an issue or way on the other side, take a look at this and see that we share some perspectives, and it doesn't necessarily have to be an either or thing. So Nimrod Nation.
Cool.
That's good.
Thank you.
All right, Mark.
Well, yeah. I'm always just last second recommendation, and I wasn't sure what I was going to recommend, but now I know. It's going to be the movie Moana, which just about everybody would recommend anyway, and it's Disney, but not Pixar.
Okay, that's fine.
I saw this with my son, actually, who's 14, and I walked out of there with him, and we'd seen like Kubo. We've seen a lot of things. He's a big anime fan, and he was like, "Yeah, that's brilliant." And there's a lot that has already been said about it, but one thing I really, really like, and it sort of fits with this water idea here, is that water is super, super powerful and yet fun in the movie. So it's not just in that either or argument. Can something be like all powerful, and does that mean it has to be like serious? Water in this thing, and the relationship they have with water, is both like super uber powerful, but like fun and kiddie, and so this idea that you can be like youthful and exuberant, like water could be, right, and still be super strong. Then there's a lot of other things. The Rock, who I'm not a fan of, was like super funny.
You were not a fan of The
Rock? I'm not a fan of that guy. But I'm also just not a fan of wrestling in general, and I still can't really pull him out of that culture, even though I'm sure he's gotten out of there well enough. But he did some great voice acting.
Great.
Anyway, Moana.
Now I want to see it. Well, that was nominated. Zootopia won, but that one was nominated, and The Red Turtle, which I'd love to see.
Ooh,
and
that's a great title.
Yep,
Yeah.
and also has a lot to do with water.
It does.
Yeah.
Right on.
And it's escaping me. Kubo and the two strings. That's it.
Yeah, which was really, really pretty, and family and magic and music, but not water. Yes, water at the beginning. There's some water.
No, but they do go on a boat.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the mother has to get him as a baby
Yeah.
somewhere over water. It's all about the water.
Water, water everywhere.
Not a drop to drink. All right. So I guess that wraps it up for us today. And thank you all for listening. And we will be back in a few weeks with a new episode. And this has been a production of Madison College in conjunction with the Creator Studio.